the power of thinking big. Thinking big. Here's my own hypothesis. Human beings are born with a natural ability to imagine, to think big, to be completely unbound and unlimited. Therefore, every single limitation we have is learned. Every single constraint is man-made. Then you make them a part of you. Here's a great idea of what it is that I mean. The stop sign. Where in the Bible, or in any religious book that you read, even the Quran, does it say on the 8th day, the Almighty created a stop sign? Yet He didn't. Man did. Man did because he needed order in the world. And if we're all going to be using roads, somebody has to stop for somebody to go. So we need a tooling system, a signage system, through which you can tell somebody it's your turn to stop and your turn to go. Now that constraint is man-made and man-learned. We then learn the constraint because that's how we exist in the space. It's not only for our own protection, but also for the protection of those around us that we keep to some of these constraints. So constraints aren't altogether bad. They are for a particular purpose. The problem then is knowing when the constraint no longer serves you. My hypothesis is that you're listening to this podcast because you are unfulfilled. You're unhappy. You want more. You know that you're capable of more. What you've been wondering for much of your life is knowing that you are capable of more. Why aren't you doing more? The reason for that is simple. You're not doing more because you're living in an environment where you have been socialized into constraints. You've been told to be average. That old expression about there's numbers or there's power in the numbers, you hide in the pack. You've learned to be who you are so that you blend in. You blend in because it's safe. Nobody comes after you. Nobody fetches you. Nobody attacks you. You don't hold an opinion that breaks the mold. You don't dare stand out from the crowd. And if you have something controversial to say, you say it in a small little room with few people who you trust never to repeat it outside. Why? Because you've learned to be a zebra. You've learned to blend in. But if you are to achieve big, then you can do many things, but hide is not one of them. You ever notice that people who do big things, of the very fact that they do big things, mean as a consequence of this, they are forced in any event to occupy the public ether. You can't hide. The challenge you have is as if you've been destined for big things. You're going to have to learn to take off those zebra stripes. You're going to have to learn to uncamouflage yourself. You're going to have to learn to stand boldly in front of the world, proclaim who you know yourself to be, and then say to the world, and knowing this is me, I don't care what you think of it. You're going to have to learn to be enough, to be sufficient, to be self-reliant.